he's not the best supervisor. He just kind of throws you stuff, and then when it doesn't come out right, he's like, why didn't you do it right? So we had a situation where I work as a plant engineer, so our job is to keep the machinery running. And one of the machines broke, and I informed him that I played the role of the victim because I said, well, I told you what happened, and I denied that I didn't speak loud enough, or I didn't send him an email, I played the role of the victim where I put everything on him. And I was very upset that day because it cost us a lot of money when the machine was running for like an hour. Shut the whole building down. It was like a huge fiasco. All the top managers came in. It was huge. So for about a week, I'm carrying this, like, right? I'm not a very vocal person. Like, I'm not good at expressing my feelings vocally. I'll just kind of hold it in. So for about a week, I was carrying that. And then one day I just kind of thought about it, and he's a supervisor. He was the only one that was there that day, and so he had to damage control everything. And it was a lot for him too because he had just became a supervisor, so he wasn't really familiar with how to manage everything. So I went from being the victim after a whole week of carrying this to being just kind of understanding where he was coming from as far as he's still learning his role too, and being able to teach us to do the job effectively. So. And it helped me a lot. I mean, now we're buddies, I just see him, hey Mike, we make jokes and stuff, but for a while it was like, I couldn't even look at him. It was just, I just couldn't stand dealing with him. But now, alhamdulillah, like I can see him, we can joke around and stuff. And if I have an issue, I make sure that I vocalize it, and I tell him what my concerns are, right there and then. That way he kind of understands what I'm going through and, what I need help on. So that's it.
Wow, thank you.
Thanks.
Next.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sister Kudrat from Boston. My difficult time was I finished nursing school in December of 2012, and I didn't start working until April 2013. And I was in a nursing home, but the nursing home was very kind of crazy. They wouldn't pay benefits. They didn't want to give me part-time. They didn't want to give me full-time, but I was working more than full-time hours. So I had to take things into my own hand. And the person who hired me left in June while I was still there until August. And I was like, before he left, he could have given me full-time. He could have given me part-time. I was really upset. So I just took matters into my own hand, and I moved to Dallas, and I got a full-time job.
Yes, Shola?
Alright, my example is kind of self-based, I think. So my victim role was, I'm a registered nurse right now too. When I took my test the first time to get your license, I failed it, right? I was like, oh, it's not a good look. So I failed it, and I fell into the victim role, partially because I started to ignore the situation. I was like, it's not that crucial, I'm gonna be a nurse eventually, but you failed, you just retake it and you'll be all right, just whatever. And I started falling into denial too, well, maybe I don't really need to be a nurse. I'm good at other stuff. It's not that crucial. That was just my mindset, right? When you do so bad at something and you just didn't achieve it, sometimes people, run away, like you're saying, victim. Started to blame my teachers, man, they ain't even prepared me. Give me this degree, he didn't even get me ready to pass. Same thing, just resisting, started to hide too. Definitely, I'm really involved at the mosque and stepped away from that.
Asking Dr. Adeyinka, has he passed that exam? What are you doing now?
Oh my God, everybody. No lie. Literally, everybody's like, hey, how's your voice going? I said, a lot of people knowing that I failed it and I'm up here trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. So, alhamdulillah, actually it was around Ramadan time that I realized that, I need to kind of get things together. I failed my test, I think this was July 1st. It was right before YMDC of last year. So after we came back from YMDC, I started realizing hey man, you kind of missing out on success. By not having your license, you're missing out on success, you're missing out on potential jobs, you're missing out on money. So let's go, that was my mindset. Started to own the responsibility of, your parents, you stand with your parents, they're still helping you out, but you're a grown man, you need to make moves. That was my mindset. I started to kind of forgive my school, because it's not their fault. Really took a self-examination, started to get closer to Allah, alhamdulillah, Ramadan. Took that time and said, I'm gonna step away from all this studying and just focus for the last 10 days of Ramadan, all that good stuff. Just try to get close to Allah so He can really, help push me forward. I learned more. I changed up my study plan, reevaluated myself. Turns out, this is what happened. Let me tell you what really happened. Sorry if I'm holding the mic.
No.
So, I'm a basketball fan, right? And when I was studying for my test the first time, the NBA playoffs were on. This is Heat and Spurs Volume 1, And so I was really into it, but I was studying on the side. And I realized, what am I doing? I need to give 110% totally to my study. So that's how I self-examined and learned. I studied almost 24/7 for the next one. Put my trust in Allah, took action, and then boom, got my license.
Brother? Yes.
For the victim loop, I'm going to share one of my experiences when I was going to take a test when I was in the Army. Basically, if you're in the Army, you want to work in the Army or as a regular soldier, usually have what they call the PT test, physical training test. So my intention was to go take the test and then pass it right there. So the choice was either to pass or to fail, but I chose to pass though. So I tend to ignore some basic things. We're given 3 days a week to go to the gym, work on ourselves, on our sit-ups, on our push-ups, on our run, through the level, through other things like that. So sometimes I miss it, sometimes I try to go there. And from 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock, sometimes I go 8:30, sometimes 7:30. It depends on how well my physique was there. So I denied myself the fact that I had to be going there every day so as to get my system accustomed to training prior to taking the test. So they blamed when I failed, woefully. And I was like, whoa, really? Oh man, subhanAllah. Okay, I took it, I failed, and I blame myself for that. So I then tried to okay, what do I have to do? Wake up in the morning, early in the morning, go there early, so as to train myself physically, and then try to emotionally balance for the test. So I did that a couple of times, and I resist myself from drinking soda, taking iced water, because drinking soda and ice and some cookies like cakes, things like that, works on me negatively, and then it makes me feel heavy. So, and then I begin to hide from all those stuff I'm not gonna do this again, no, I'm gonna just wait until I pass the test. I took the test, I passed it, and I was like, oh, alhamdulillah. And that was great. The other one for the accountability loop was when I was in my undergrad, when I had to do my research work on forensics. So some of my colleagues were to work on carcass, pig carcass, and then study how insects generate from this carcass and how we can tell when this carcass was dead and how it died and what could be the reason why the carcass got dead and things like that. So we're going to be going to where the pig was killed and go there twice or thrice a day so as to collect some readings of regards when the insect begins to perch on the dead body, and the temperature, the humidity, and things like that. It was really tough. So we do go there every day, and then we see maggots. The smell was so disgusting, and a couple of things like that. So my colleague and I, most of them would go with me, and sometimes we're no, I'm tired, I'm not going there. I began to have some swellings towards my ears, and I was thinking, my going there and then having some houseflies to perch on me might cause me to have myositis, that is having maggots to form underneath my skin. And I was panic. I was like, wow, man, I think I'm having some negativity when coming here every day. I don't know what to do right now because I was panicking. And then I had to go to the doctor. And then he said, that's not what the problem is. The problem is you could have some cholesterol coming behind your ears in there. That's not maggots. And I was to go like every day still. I had a good reading, and from there, I had to go all the way from my state college all through the north to go classify the things that I collected, the insects, because we don't have no insect tree in school there. So we had to go all the way from the far southeast, southwest, all to the north central to go classify those insects. I had to go alone and then try to like be all that I could do and then get it done. So once I got back to school, we brought back the results, and we were able to tell that, wow, this is a very good thing. You guys did a very good job. We all got praise for that, and we got a very good result for that. So, that's how I got to that.
So my victim role, my role, I didn't get into the victim role because I was preparing this talk. So I actually read about all of these things. So yesterday I flew in, I went from Houston to Midland to go for a graduation, and I was going to bail out. But I realized, no, you can't. So I said, okay, I'll fly from Midland to Houston. So I had to leave because Midland, Texas is like, I don't know how many people it's even there, very small. There were only 2 or 3 flights in the morning. So I left about 5 or 6 o'clock from the hotel to get to the airport at 7:30 so I can connect in Houston. When I got to the airport, I checked in and they said, your flight is delayed till 10. I'm like, oh my God. Usually I'll start yelling, screaming. So I said, I asked the girl, why did they delay the flight? But I checked and they didn't tell me. It was like, well, because the FAA made a rule that when pilots fly, when they're late, they have to have this mandatory rest for 8 hours. So I had no control. The plane was there, but there was no crew. So rather than whine, so what did I do? I got my slide out. I was walking on them. I was at the airport. I only told my family, don't leave Midland until I get on the plane. So if I don't make it to Tennessee, at least I want to make it to Houston. So looking at all of this, so you do have a choice. In every situation, you have a choice of what you want to do. Do you want to be a whiner, or do you want to be accountable? And sometimes you may get into the whining role, but don't stay there for too long. Just snap out of it. Snap out of it as soon as you can. And in anything that we face ourselves, remember you have a choice. Always remember that. Next slide, please. Oh.